Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, I don't feel like myself anymore? Maybe intimacy feels distant, or you've lost confidence in your body after menopause. If so, you're not alone. And the surprising truth is that the way you care for yourself each day may hold the key to changing everything. I'm Dr. Lisa Perriera, a gynecologist with over 30 years of experience helping women through every stage of life. And today, I want to share with you how self-care doesn't just protect your body, it can actually boost intimacy and rebuild confidence after menopause. So often women in their 60s tell me, "Doctor, I thought intimacy was over for me. I thought feeling attractive and connected was something I had to leave in the past." But I've seen over and over again that when women begin practicing consistent self-care, hydrating, moisturizing, moving their bodies, practicing pelvic floor exercises, and even embracing gentle intimacy, the changes go far beyond physical comfort. They rediscover joy in connection, they carry themselves with more confidence, and they realize intimacy doesn't disappear with age, it transforms. Let me share a story. A patient I'll call Karen, 66, came to my office feeling defeated. She said, "Doctor, I don't even want my husband to touch me anymore. It just feels like my body is closed off." She believed her marriage had lost its spark, and she felt invisible. But when we created a simple self-care plan, hydration, regular pelvic floor exercises, and gentle moisturizing, she began to notice changes. Within months, she told me with tears in her eyes, "I don't just feel better physically, I feel closer to my husband again. We laugh together, we hold hands, and I don't shrink away when he reaches for me." Karen's story isn't rare. According to the Mayo Clinic, women who maintain intimacy and self-care after menopause report higher life satisfaction, lower stress, and improved confidence. And it's not just about sex. It's about hormones like oxytocin and endorphins, which are released during touch and intimacy. These feel-good chemicals reduce anxiety, lift mood, and create a sense of connection that radiates through every part of life. Think of self-care like lighting a lamp in a dark room. The light doesn't just brighten one corner, it spreads, illuminating everything around it. When you care for your body, that light touches your relationships, your confidence, your health, and even your outlook on aging. In this episode, we'll explore exactly how self-care enhances intimacy and confidence after menopause. I'll explain the medical science behind it, share real patient stories of transformation, and give you practical steps to apply in your own life. By the end, you'll see that self-care isn't just about avoiding discomfort. It's about reclaiming your spark, your joy, and your dignity as a woman. So let me ask you, do you believe self-care is only about preventing problems? Or could it actually be the key to restoring intimacy and confidence in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments, I promise. Your words could give courage to another woman who feels she's lost that part of herself. Stay with me, because what we're about to uncover may change the way you see self-care forever. When I sit with women in my office, I hear the same themes again and again. They don't lack love for their partners, and they don't lack the desire to feel good in their own skin. What they lack is confidence. And most of the time, that loss of confidence grows out of very real, very common barriers that arrive after menopause. The first barrier is physical discomfort. When tissues become thin and dry, intimacy can shift from something pleasurable to something painful. A single painful encounter can leave a lasting mark of fear. I've seen women withdraw completely because they don't want to risk that pain again. But here's the truth. Discomfort isn't a sign that intimacy is over. It's a sign your body needs more care. The Cleveland Clinic reports that more than half of postmenopausal women experience vaginal dryness, yet very few seek help. Many simply accept it as normal aging, but it doesn't have to be. The second barrier is emotional silence. Women often don't talk about their struggles, even with their closest friends, and sometimes not even with their partners. They bottle it up, fearing judgment or embarrassment. This silence isolates them, making them feel like they're the only ones going through it. I recall a patient named Denise, 69, who told me I thought I was broken. None of my friends ever mentioned these problems, so I assumed it was just me. When I assured her that millions of women share her experience, she cried with relief. Sometimes the greatest healing begins not with medicine, but with breaking the silence. The third barrier is body image. After menopause, many women look at their bodies and see only what has changed: the wrinkles, the softness, the shift in shape. They forget to see what remains strong, alive, and beautiful. This loss of body confidence seeps into intimacy. If you don't feel attractive in your own skin, it's hard to let someone else see you as desirable. According to the Mayo Clinic, poor body image is one of the strongest predictors of reduced sexual satisfaction after menopause. And the fourth barrier is the belief that it's too late. This is the barrier that breaks my heart most. Women tell me, "Doctor, I'm too old for intimacy, or my time has passed." They write themselves off, not because their bodies have failed, but because society has whispered that intimacy belongs only to the young. But here's what science and decades of patient care tell us: intimacy does not have an expiration date. With the right self-care, women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s can rediscover closeness, confidence, and joy. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Margaret, 71. She hadn't been intimate with her husband in nearly a decade. She told me bluntly that part of our marriage is dead. But when we addressed her dryness with simple, moisturizing added pelvic floor exercises and encouraged gentle forms of touch without pressure, everything shifted. Margaret returned months later with a smile I hadn't seen before. She said, "Doctor, it feels like we're dating again." Her story proves that the barriers we think are permanent can actually be broken with awareness and consistent care. Think of these barriers like walls in a house. Over time, they go up, built from pain, silence, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs. But here's the good news: walls can be taken down. And when you start with self-care, hydration, moisturizing, movement, intimacy with yourself, you begin knocking holes in those walls, letting light back in. So let me ask you, which of these barriers feels most familiar to you? Physical discomfort, silence, body image, or the belief that it's too late? Share your reflections in the comments. You may find that simply naming your barrier is the first step toward breaking it down. And stay with me, because in the next part, we'll explore the practical, natural solutions that not only ease these barriers, but actually build a bridge back to intimacy and confidence. Now that we've uncovered the barriers, let's talk about how to move past them. Because here's the truth: intimacy and confidence don't just come back on their own. They return when you take consistent, practical steps to care for your body. And the best part: these steps are simple, natural, and accessible to every woman. The first solution is hydration and gentle moisturizing. It may sound basic, but restoring comfort often begins with the fundamentals. Drinking water throughout the day supports your tissues from the inside, while using a fragrance-free vaginal moisturizer a few times a week restores elasticity on the outside. One of my patients, Joyce, 68, came to me convinced intimacy was impossible because of pain. When she began moisturizing regularly, she was amazed. She told me, "Doctor, I don't dread closeness anymore. I actually look forward to it." Comfort is the foundation of confidence, and moisturizing is one of the simplest ways to reclaim it. The second solution is pelvic floor exercises. These small movements create big results. By strengthening your foundation, you gain control over leakage, improve circulation, and increase sensation. According to the Mayo Clinic, women who practice daily Kegels often notice improvement in just weeks. I advise starting small 10 squeezes in the morning, 10 at night. Link them to a routine like brushing your teeth so they become automatic. One patient. Helen, age 70, joked, "Kegels are my secret weapon. I can do them anywhere and no one knows." That sense of empowerment builds not just physical strength, but confidence too. The third solution is gentle movement. You don't need a marathon or a gym membership. A 20-minute walk, yoga stretches, or Tai Chi can transform how your body feels. The National Institutes of Health highlights that regular movement improves circulation, which directly supports intimate health. And there's an emotional benefit too. Exercise triggers endorphins, the natural mood lifters that make you feel alive. I often tell my patients, motion is lotion for your body. When you move, you're not just protecting your joints, you're nourishing your intimacy. The fourth solution is embracing intimacy without pressure. Intimacy isn't only about intercourse. It's about connection, touch, and feeling seen. Start small, holding hands, a back rub, or even self-pleasure. The Cleveland Clinic notes that regular stimulation keeps tissues flexible and helps maintain blood flow. I once worked with a couple in their 70s who felt intimacy had vanished. I encouraged them to start with 10 minutes of non-sexual touch each night, just holding, massaging, being present. Weeks later, they returned, smiling, saying, "We found our closeness again without forcing it." When intimacy is approached with gentleness, it grows naturally. The fifth solution is reframing your body image. This one is harder, but so important. Stop comparing your body to your 20-year-old self. Instead, celebrate the strength and wisdom it carries today. I ask my patients to stand in front of a mirror once a week and name one thing they appreciate: strong legs that carried them through decades, hands that raised children, a smile that still lights up a room. Confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from gratitude for the body you live in now. Together, these solutions create a bridge over the barriers we talked about earlier. Moisturizing addresses physical discomfort. Pelvic floor exercises and movement fight fear of leakage and weakness. Gentle intimacy heals silence and reconnects you to your body. And reframing body image replaces shame with pride. One step at a time, they lead you back to intimacy and confidence. So here's my invitation. Choose one of these solutions and commit to trying it this week. Maybe it's buying a moisturizer, practicing 10 Kegels, or taking a 15-minute walk after dinner. Which one feels most doable for you right now? Share it in the comments, because declaring your choice is the first step to making it real, and your words might encourage another woman to begin too. Stay with me, because in the next part, I'll share the transformation story of a woman who applied these very habits and discovered that intimacy after menopause can be more fulfilling than she ever imagined. To see how these solutions truly work, let me share with you the journey of one of my patients, a woman whose transformation still inspires me to this day. Her name was Rosa, 69, a grandmother of 4. When she first came to see me, she sat quietly, her shoulders slumped. She said, "Dr. Perriera, I don't feel like myself anymore. I don't feel attractive, and I've stopped being close to my husband. I avoid intimacy because it hurts, and I hate how I look now. I feel invisible." Rosa's story is not unique. Many women feel this way after menopause, disconnected from their bodies, withdrawn from intimacy, and uncertain if change is even possible. But instead of accepting decline, we built a plan together. Step by step, Rosa began to adopt the very habits we've been talking about: daily hydration, a gentle moisturizer, short walks in the park, pelvic floor. Exercises each night, and most importantly, small moments of intimacy without pressure, like holding hands, hugging, or simply sitting close. The first few weeks weren't easy. Rosa doubted it would help. She admitted, "Doctor, I feel silly doing Kegels. I feel embarrassed buying moisturizer." But with consistency, her body began to respond. Within a month, she noticed less dryness. By the second month, she told me she laughed with her husband again, without fear of leakage. By the third month, she looked me in the eye and said, "I feel like the woman I used to be, only wiser." What changed wasn't just her physical comfort, it was her confidence. Rosa started styling her hair again, wearing colours she loved, and walking with her head held high. Her husband later told me privately, "Doctor, thank you. I have my wife back, but more importantly, she has herself back." Stories like Rosa's remind me of a powerful truth. Self-care is not vanity, it's vitality. I often use this analogy with my patients. Think of self-care as tending a fire. If you neglect it, the flame dies out, leaving only cold ashes. If you pour too much at once, like harsh chemicals or punishing routines, you smother it. But if you feed it gently, consistently, with the right kind of fuel, the fire glows, steadily warming everything around it. Rosa had thought her fire was gone forever, but with small acts of care she rekindled it, and that light filled not only her marriage, but also her own spirit. Science supports what Rosa experienced. According to the Mayo Clinic, women who maintain self-care and intimacy after menopause have lower rates of depression, higher life satisfaction, and improved cardiovascular health. And the Cleveland Clinic emphasizes that intimacy, whether shared or solo, releases oxytocin, which reduces stress and deepens feelings of connection. What Rosa discovered in her daily habits is exactly what the research confirms. Intimacy and confidence are not lost with age, they are nourished through care. So let me ask you this: if Rosa could rediscover herself at 69, what might be possible for you right now at your age? What small act of self-care could become the spark that rekindles your own fire? I'd love for you to share in the comments what part of Rosa's story resonated with you the most. Was it her doubt, her courage, or her transformation? Because chances are another woman is watching this video right now, feeling the same doubts Rosa once did, and your words might be the light she needs to take her first step. Stay with me, because in our final part, we'll recap everything we've learned today and talk about how you can begin your own journey toward intimacy and confidence starting tonight. We've walked together through a journey that many women over 60 rarely get the chance to talk about. And I want to pause, take a breath, and remind you of the most important truth. Intimacy and confidence don't disappear after menopause, they are rebuilt through care. We began by looking at the barriers, physical discomfort that makes intimacy painful, the silence that isolates women from each other, the loss of body confidence that shadows daily life, and the belief that it's too late. These walls are real, and they are heavy, but they are not permanent. Then we turned to solutions, simple, natural habits that can transform your body and your spirit. Hydration and gentle moisturizers restore comfort. Pelvic floor exercises strengthen your foundation. Gentle movement increases circulation and energy. And embracing intimacy, whether with a partner or simply with yourself, keeps your body alive and responsive. Finally, reframing how you see your body allows you to carry yourself with confidence and pride. And we heard Rosa's story, how a woman who once felt invisible reclaimed her body, her confidence, and her spark, all through small, consistent acts of self-care. Her journey reminds us that change is not about turning back the clock. It's about nourishing the woman you are today, so you can step into each day with dignity and joy. Think of it like a light switch. For many women, intimacy feels like it has gone dark after menopause. But self-care is the hand that flips the switch back on. And when the light returns, it doesn't just brighten intimacy, it illuminates your relationships, your confidence, and even the way you show up in the world. So here's what I want you to carry with you. Self-care is not optional, and it's not indulgent. It's essential. It's how you tell your body, you still matter. You are still worth caring for. And that message repeated day after day is what reignites intimacy and builds unshakable confidence. Now it's your turn. I invite you to choose one small act of self-care to begin tonight. Maybe it's drinking a tall glass of water, or applying a gentle moisturizer, or doing 10 Kegels before bed. Maybe it's reaching for your partner's hand, or taking a quiet moment for yourself. Whatever it is, let it be your first step toward a brighter, more confident you. And I'd love to hear from you which habit or insight from today's video spoke to you the most, and what's one step you feel ready to take. Share your answer in the comments, because when you speak your truth, you don't just help yourself, you shine a light for another woman who might be struggling in silence. If this video has encouraged you, I invite you to subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this series. In our next episode, we'll be diving into the powerful connection between self-care and longevity, how the choices you make today can add not just years to your life, but life to your years. And before we close, let me remind you, this video is for educational purposes only. It does not replace medical advice. Every woman's body is unique. If you are experiencing pain, significant changes, or have personal concerns, please consult with your healthcare provider. Your well-being deserves personalized care.